So sorry about that. Looks like we're going to go live now.
Yes, we are live.
Well, welcome everyone. Appreciate you all being at our bi-weekly College Council meeting. My name is Ricky Shabazz. I have the honor and privilege of being the president of San Diego City College. We have a number of our campus leaders from our constituency groups here. We are waiting on a couple people to join us. The vice presidents and I had an amazing time the last 2 days welcoming people back to campus. Certainly, there are many people who never left campus, but as we returned back in person, we've had a number of activities that a number of people have helped to put on. But today was Taco Tuesday, and it was amazing to see the folks there indulging in at least one of my favorite foods. And the taco vendor that we use has amazing watermelon drinks. So hopefully everyone had a chance to taste that. I'm going to hold off a couple seconds for the roll call, as I want to give John Parker a couple minutes to get over to his side of that the campus. He probably had the longest walk compared to everyone else. We have a number of things on our agenda, and I'll start by explaining for those who are watching on YouTube the way College Council works. This is the highest level of participatory governance at our college, and so I'm going to do a roll call in a couple moments of our leaders of our constituency groups. If you would like to bring an item forth to place on the agenda for a College Council, you could do so one of two ways. You can either reach out to one of these amazing leaders that I'm going to introduce momentarily, or you can reach out to my office and Janelle in the office, who does an amazing job with our meeting notes and keeping me in the right places at the right time. Janelle can also assist with getting an item on College Council. So that's how you would get an item. It could be a presentation, could be a question. This is your College Council, and so you have an opportunity. Any member of our community can bring forth an agenda item by either working with the leaders of the constituency groups and or emailing my office. Speaking of the leaders of the constituency groups, I see most of the folks are here, so we'll begin with the introductions. Paul Alexander, past president, Academic Senate.
Hello, hello.
Tilly, vice president of instruction.
Present.
Robbie, chair of institutional technology.
Present.
And also one of our deans. Caesar, information officer.
Present.
Jocelyn, supervisory rep. And I didn't hear Jocelyn, but I see Jocelyn. So I know that she is here. I will say present for her. Okay. Nadia.
Present.
Is our chair. She is president. Susan, dean of institutional effectiveness.
Present.
Masa, administrative representative.
Present.
And I think Diego, if I'm guessing, Diego, you're standing in for our amazing president who rocked the house as part of City Women Rock. Am I correct, Diego? You're our student representative?
Yes, I'm the representative of Victoria USA.
Welcome, Diego. We are always happy to see our amazing students, because that is participatory governance at its best, and one of the reasons, and the main reason we're here. Welcome, Diego. Good to see you. John is probably still walking to his office. Marciano, vice president of students.
Here.
Timmy is standing in for Sean as the president of the classified senate.
Present.
Thank you. Good to see you, Timmy. Maria Jose, the interim president of the academic senate.
Presente.
And John Parker has made it to his office. He is our vice president of administrative services.
Present.
Great. We have a number of updates, presentations today. We will introduce our guests momentarily, but we like to move to the second item on the agenda, which is the approval of the February 15th meeting notes. If I could have a motion for approval. Is there a brave soul? Don't be shy.
This is Up.
So I think I hear,
Okay.
I think I hear Susan with a first and Masa, was that a second?
That works.
All in favor, if you will either use your virtual hand raise, the green, yes, thank you. I learned that from Masa, as a matter of fact. Green, yes. Those who would like to vote the matter down can use the red X. And if you would like to abstain, you could unmute yourself and indicate. So looks like the motion carries. Thank you. Up first is one of our amazing deans at San Diego City College, someone who I've had a chance to work with very closely in a number of efforts. And speaking of efforts, I'd like to thank Jeannie Tyler for being voluntold to oversee the mural process. And it is one that we're very proud of, but it is an adventure. And so I'm going to be actually meeting with Jeannie and a couple of folks to walk the campus and look at a couple other locations for another mural. So get ready, Jeannie. We're looking at another location for a mural. But speaking of mural, the way our process works for murals is that there is a committee that anyone who is interested in a mural project can bring forth that mural project to the committee. The committee reviews it, looking for alignment with our mission and how is the mural going to go up and the like. I'm sure Jeannie will go over that process. Without further ado, let me turn it over to Jeannie, who can do a much better job of explaining how the mural process works and introducing the murals that should have been attached to the meeting agenda today. Jeannie?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for this time. I know it is a packed agenda, but we so appreciate this. And I am coming to today on behalf of the Public Art Committee. As President Shabazz mentioned, I have his designation to convene the committee when we receive a proposal or an application for a mural. There is a campus process that, as with many of our processes, we're only as good as our processes, right? And that will be reviewed for quality control and further effectiveness as time goes on. But yes, the current process is that we will receive and entertain applications for murals and art, right? Right now, murals happen to be the thing, but I encourage everybody that there are other forms of art that we would welcome to see on our campus that may represent our full constituency, right? So keep that in mind. But right now, murals are the thing of the day, and so we have been receiving quite a few projects. And yes, absolutely, for the betterment of the college and the students whom we serve, we will look and review those. The committee itself is an ad hoc committee that reports to College Council, and it is made up of representation from all constituency groups. We have had two wonderful students working with us this past year. There are currently 4 faculty appointed by Academic Senate. There are classified representatives, and by virtue of the process itself, one of those is somebody from facilities, and that happens to be Jay Purnell, our campus director, who just gives so tirelessly of his time, and we thank him. And I say that because I owe him, I think, a white chocolate mocha, if Jay's out there, because he spent time with us last night after his shift was well over. So just my thanks to everybody that has served on the committee and spent time coming to the table to review these. So there, as I mentioned, there are 5 projects out there. 4 I will present on and request for approval today, and then 1 that will probably warrant further discussion. But Janelle, can I share screen? Or may I share screen?
You should have access to share your screen now.
Beautiful, thank you. So as President Shabazz mentioned, these were in your packet, but I will go through. There are 4 projects, and they are clustered together as such because the fine art department, working with various departments on campus, have come up with a vision for white walls that happen, this time they happen to be in the AH garage, which is about 5 floors directly under where I am sitting right now. off of C Street. This is the entrance. And then it goes into a smaller parking lot that just the way it's designed has intersecting and various walls. And so the vision here was really a more at home generated project. They would like this to be recognized as the AH Social Justice Garage, and it would include faculty and student projects that would go up, not all simultaneously, various times, to represent our college, its mission, and again, student voice. So the first project that is proposed is one by a former student and a local Indigenous artist who has gifted us this design titled Honoring the Ancestors. And what perfect timing that we also have the land acknowledgement going out there. And it would be an honor to have an Indigenous artist put up this art in the garage. And so it's not working. That's the vision. The wonder of technology and PDF is that we can kind of take these images and see where they would go. And then I'm going to go through this presentation quickly. Again, you all received this in your packet, but if there are questions, I do have a representative from the Public Art Committee here with me also. And then there's one, this one will be our social justice environment design. It's through one of our own faculty and a student club on campus. And this is more of an education one, right? It goes through.
I bet I can guess who this one's coming from.
I wonder. And be sure everybody to join Professor Chaddock tomorrow at 2:30 in the cafeteria. She's going to take on a bird walk. But this is to educate and highlight birds indigenous to this region and how I believe everyone depicted here are in danger or endangered. So some education there. That's the wall it would go on. Another idea was, this is more kind of like a living piece of art, and that is fine art working with various classes and kind of a student prompt, post-pandemic, kind of like now what? And just students being able to write or draw their current state of mind and how they're doing. And the fine art department itself, working with our NANCE ILT, would monitor this and put these up, make sure somebody hasn't come across and scribbled on it, which, by the way, all this artwork will be monitored, of course, for quality control. But this would be pieces of art, of paper, put up with the direct student voice or their images, just to indicate how they are doing, right? Which is something we should all be reaching out to our colleagues and our students to find out, how are we doing? And this wall would depict that. It would be up for a finite period of time, again, monitored to make sure that it's not drawn through, drawn over, taken down, missing, what have you. And that is the wall there. That's on the back side of where the opposite wall from the elevator. And then this one is, again, a student has gifted us this design with the title, and excuse me as I post through here, All My Thoughts Multiply. And that is just the student working through these COVID times and how many of us spent a lot of time with our thoughts, right? We couldn't certainly be together, but we had our thoughts. Hopefully, a lot of times they were positive and effective thoughts, but I know I've sat there many times with thoughts swirling and multiplying. And so again, the vision with this garage are faculty working directly with students. The white walls in the garage are, none of these are meant to be permanent unless there is a request, then we would entertain it. But the walls themselves lean to easily being able to whitewash over them again and restart anew. And I do want to add that part of the application process, of course, is that the submitters must have a funding source. These four in particular, we had a faculty member retire in spring of 2020, and she was, I'm going to call her a gatherer. I won't use the term hoarder. She was a gatherer and left us with many, many supplies. So brushes and tarps are already available, not from the GFU or the GFR. And then minimal supplies will be needed. Wallpaper for the one where the students would design the paper and put it up on the wall. But any paints that are needed would be purchased through the Fine Art Fund account that is not from the GFU or the GFR. So they do have an outside funding source. So none of this is coming from current instructional supplies or the department's GFU supply budget. Whew, sorry, I tried to get through that as quickly as I can in the interest of time. Questions?
Ricky, you're muted.
Thank you. And I didn't seem like I was because I said, Jeannie, if you could unshare and it unshared, and then I was muted.
It's that ESP.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate it. This is actually an action item, folks. And for those of you who are new to the College Council, we have two murals, one that is completed, one that is in process of being completed. And much like Jeannie did this time, we brought forth the examples, and we, per Robert's rule, would need a motion for approval. I'd like to take it as an entire docket, unless it is the pleasure of the group to approve or discuss each one individual. But in order to do either, we would need to make someone would need to make a motion for approval of the mural projects that were presented today as recommended from the college's committee, which is a participatory governance committee.
Ricky, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Robbie. And just because there's so many of us, and most of you, I recognize your voice, if you could just identify your name. In this case, we've got a first motion by Robbie.
I second that.
Thank you, Maria Jose, with a second. Any further discussion about the mural projects? I see, Tilly, is that a yes?
I don't know that it's the project, it's the process that I wanted to give something added, but I don't know if this is the right time or should I wait till after this?
Well, I would rather us go through the vote and
Okay.
then we can discuss some things we've learned from the process that is going through a process. Maria Jose?
So just to clarify, this is to vote to put all this design in the garage, right?
Correct.
In DAH?
Yes.
So my question is just about the traffic that we would have in that garage. That's all. Like, why the garage and not out there where everybody can see it? And maybe it's because there's going to be other murals, hopefully, or other art all over campus. But I was just it's so beautiful. Everything is so beautiful that I'm worried that it's going to get a little bit lost with all the cars parked in there, and it's hard to see the walls and all that stuff.
Certainly, very fair question. And like I said, this was a vision out of the fine art department that those walls were chosen specifically that classes it's easily accessible, either the stairs or the elevator. Classes could come down, monitor and look. But again, none of these are coming forward with the intention that they are permanent. Again, unless I said there was a specific request, then we could certainly revisit that and entertain that and find out how we could make that happen. We're always open to that suggestion, but it really is just faculty voice with student voice, not permanent, and that was the request for the location and talked over, discussed, dialogued at the Public Art Committee, and we had unanimous consensus approval to move forward with the proposal as it was submitted.
And I would add to what Jeannie said, the proximity to fine arts is something that the faculty in the area had always wanted to do for a number of years. And we're told, frankly, no, that well, I shouldn't say they were told, no, they were not supported to do so. And as we now have been supporting public art, they wanted to revisit requests that had come forward a number of years. But I assure you, I'm going to walk the campus with Jeannie as I did prior with Ana Delgado. And we've identified a couple of other, and Jeannie, I'm using the term blank walls now. We've identified a number of other blank walls that we may be able to use as our project. Paul.
Yeah, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate an administration that's supporting these art projects, and of course the people who are actually serving on the committee deciding all of these things, because I know it's not easy. I know ever since I've been on campus, murals are something that we've always talked about and aspired to, but never quite been able to make it. And so the fact that we're as far along as we are, I think is a testimony both to our administrators, faculty, staff, classified folks, and students, everybody involved in the process. And I really appreciate that. A small a small addition to that is the bird mural, which I think looks amazing. I think was kind of held up under social justice. I feel like maybe it's more environmental justice. And so that might be a small tweak of it that would help avoid otherwise unnecessary critique, because clearly you can't have social justice without environmental justice, but there is a difference, arguably. And then the last thing that I'll say is big shout out to my student, Diego, who's up here. I just realized that's my student right there, everybody. That's my student, Umoja.
So Diego, you can't miss class today because Professor Alexander saw you here in
He was there.
Council.
He was there. And you know why I love him so much? He was there in person, raising his hand, taking a it's just he's what makes me proud to be a city college professor.
Man, I hope you're feeling the love, Diego. Before I get to Professor Shattuck, I'd ask Jeannie to introduce both of our faculty who were involved, and then we'll take Professor Shattuck's question.
Yes, thank you. And props to you also, Diego. I really felt the love. If I may, real quickly, in a response to something that Professor Alexander said, and that was, if social justice came out of my mouth in regards to the, we'll call it the bird mural for lack of a better, that was erroneous on my part. If you look at your packet, it is titled the social environmental mural. So I deeply apologize. And then, yes, with me today, my crew, my backup are Lisa Chaddock, who is an academic senate appointed member of the Public Art Committee, and then Ebony Tyree came with me today as part of another project that we will discuss. Lisa.
Professor Shattuck, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much for your support. Our students worked really hard to get this particular project going. And we looked at 6 different entries of proposals and worked for nearly a year discussing this and really engaging what we thought the community would react to and be touched by. And so this is the best college. And I just wanted to thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your leadership. And Professor Shattuck is one of many amazing professors here at City College, and her work in this area has brought national attention to our college and to students who take her classes. And so we're always eager to support our actively engaged folks who are doing the work. So kudos to you and your leadership. Folks, we got a number of things on the docket, and we could probably talk the entire meeting about these murals, but I concur with Paul that it is wonderful. And if you have not seen the Constance Carroll mural that brought life to the A building, folks, it just did. And if you haven't seen the 50th anniversary Chicano Chicanx Studies mural. It is bringing life to the cafeteria. Shout out to the folks working on that mural, that they also embedded Black Studies, because collaboration is an example of City College. I would like, we have a first and a second, all in favor. Any further discussion first? Certainly, if we would want you to be heard if you desire to be heard. Hearing none, all those in favor, if you would use the reaction in green being you supported, red being you are in opposition. If you would like to abstain, you could do so by unmuting yourself and letting it be known. Otherwise, it looks like the motion passes unanimously. I'm assuming those who have not voted are just trying to locate their green. You could do so by hitting the reaction. There we go. Motion carries. Thank you to everyone involved. Did we, Jeannie, need to talk about another one, or we?
I would just like to report, if I may, and
Yes.
that is that we do have another submission application that has also been in the works. As hopefully everybody's heard by now, that the Social Justice Conference is coming up this month, March 23rd and 24th, I believe. And early in fall, part of that vision is always that we would work with an artistic collective and student voice to produce a social justice mural. Now, again, they have funding. We went through the entire process, several discussions. Well, we have committee unanimous approval for the project. We have majority approval for the location of it. But just yesterday we even met and design was proposed, but my understanding from the faculty member that brought it forward is that the design may not be fully complete. And I'm trying to be very not leading. And so Ebony, save me. But we are, like I said, this Public Art Committee is very much in support of every tenet that this mural and this project stands for and will stand for. But Ebony, can you provide an update?
Well, yeah, just to briefly state that it is in the works. Our artist right now has taken in ideas from students. And so it's in its early stages. So it's incomplete. I know the design that was showed to the committee was the incomplete version. It's kind of what the students came up with, not yet what the artist has put into it as well, because the 3B Collective, they have a particular design. They've done murals at UCSD and across other places. So they haven't put their stamp on it yet, but they will. And so we'll come with another design, but we're excited about it and appreciate the committee's work in moving forward with the Social Justice Conference mural that will be taking place and active during the week of Social Justice Conference. So please come over and paint and draw. They are inviting everyone to come and participate in the making of this mural. So that's what makes it unique as well. So we're excited.
So maybe this is an opportune time to, Ebony, have you and any other representative of social justice to join Jeannie and I on this tour. And I'll just say it, there is and I happened to be walking between the T building and the A building on what we very affectionately call the skateboard park, because that's what it is on the weekend. There is that wall there that I think is a blank slate for a potential mural, to Maria Jose's point, that it is in, I believe, a prime area that you may want to consider as a location. But certainly in terms of approval, we would need to see a design before we can formally approve the artwork. But if you all would be interested, Janelli is working on securing a time and a day for me to meet with Jeannie to go walk the area and show her. I mean, you don't have to wait for me. You can go look at it. It's just blank. Basically it's the retaining wall underneath the big tree. that is, I believe, a prime location for a potential mural. If that's not what you all had in mind, no worries. I'm going to be talking to
Yeah, no, that we had a different location in mind, but I think that the team we're working with would be amazing. We can have more conversations about maybe even potentially doing a mural and following the same, process for student collaboration and participation with actually painting on the mural for that location as well. But we had picked a location, but I know you all have to see design and stuff. So thank you, Dr.
Do you mind sharing where is this going in?
Oh yeah, you don't know. Oh, so the AH building, that ramp, it's right by the Seville Theater. There's that ramp that goes in between. There's some stairs there. There's actually a little mural there already. It says jazz with the piano. I don't know. Okay. So the wall, it's just a concrete wall that sits right there on the way up the ramp. We were thinking there because it can be seen, when you're driving down, what's that, C Street? Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah.
We look forward to, thanks for sharing that. And we look forward to seeing the design, and we'll invite you back. Let us know when it's ready, and work with Jeannie and Janelli. That's a lot of J's there. And we'll get you all set up to present to the full committee.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. We will bid you all a good rest of the day. You're certainly welcome to stay if you'd like to hear the other things. I'm going to move us on to Susan Murray, who's going to talk about program review and an assessment update. And I believe Susan may have another update as well. And so I was a little bit confused, Susan, but if you wanted to give the other update now, you could as well with Susan.
Sure, thank you.
And Susan actually has two items. The intranet, which we've been waiting to hear about for some time. So I'm going to give you the floor for both of the items 5 and 6.
Okay, thank you. And Janelli, could I get screen sharing permission, please? So the first topic I have for you is program review and assessment. Just a couple of updates that we want to be sure to bring to the attention of the entire college. Program review, we know that there have been changes in program leadership that have been happening this year. So this is just a reminder to please go and check to be sure that your documentation is complete for the 21-22 academic year. We have been using TaskStream as our platform for SLO assessment and program review. And we will continue to do that through this academic year, but this is a heads up that there is a change coming. Our agreement with TaskStream is at the district level. We're using that product to support program review and SLO assessment at City, Mesa, and Miramar. We are coming to the end of our contract. TaskStream has been absorbed by another company, and it is an older product that doesn't have all of the functionality that we could want. And so we are looking at transitioning to something different. So the assessment coordinators from all of the campuses reviewed available products that are on the market now, looked at demonstrations, spoke with other colleges in the California system that are using different products, and made a recommendation that's now being considered at the district level. So we expect to have more information on the specific direction that the software is going to take soon. That doesn't change anything about the content of program review, because we determine how we structure program review, how often we do it, what questions we respond to, what data we use. All of that is determined through our own campus shared governance processes. And we went through a pretty significant overhaul of all of that in 2017. And the feedback so far has been very positive. We've made some minor adjustments as we've gotten feedback. But my point here is that the new software platform will be used to replicate as closely as we can the process that we've determined by our college governance system. What we really hope for is better functionality, particularly in the area of reporting, being able to pull information out of the system and use it more effectively in planning and decision making. So if things go as we anticipate, the transition and moving of archives from TaskStream over to the new product would start to happen this summer. And we would be ready to roll out the new platform and start training at the beginning of the fall 22 semester. Any questions about that software transition before I move on? All right. That leads us to the faculty assessment coordinator, which is a very significant role in supporting all of this work. And I have to express huge appreciation to Aaron Detty, who served in this role for several years as a faculty member and kept supporting us, even when he became acting dean of health, exercise, science, and athletics and took on a number of new responsibilities. Now that Aaron is permanently in the dean role, we need to find another individual from the faculty to support faculty engagement in this process as a peer resource. So that recruitment is now open. There was an announcement sent to the city DL yesterday, and it will be repeated later this week. We're asking for letters of interest to be submitted by March 21st. The position could be filled by either a contract or an adjunct faculty member. This would be an ongoing role supporting course SLO assessment in particular and program review, especially from instructional areas or faculty-led programs. We are looking for a commitment of about 2 years, because it takes some time to kind of get comfortable in the role and learn the ins and outs of the system. And this person will also be involved in our software transition. So details are in the announcement. Please share it with your colleagues, and we look forward to having a new person in this role. Any questions about this aspect before I move on to the next section? All right, so the next topic I have on the agenda is our college intranet, My SD City. This is something we have been working toward for a long time. We have been engaged in kind of a phased rollout because we had several projects and needs that were central to how we conduct business as a college that really took priority for getting access to this as a resource. My SD City is an intranet, which is short for internal internet. It's specific to City College. It's for employee communications. Access to it is validated through the same Active Directory system that validates access to our college email accounts and the campus network and those kinds of things. We have started our rollout with a couple of specific projects. One is creating spaces for committee and governance support. We have a lot of communications needs around our governance processes, a lot of documentation to share and make available to folks. We have learned sometimes the hard way that email is not necessarily the best way to share some of that. With the storage limits that we have in Outlook, that can add up pretty quickly for some of us that are parts of multiple groups with multiple attachments being sent out. This is an opportunity to also just increase communication within our governance groups and provide a new platform. So that has been one of the key foundations. We have provided training as a start to about half a dozen governance groups, and they have been kind of the beta testers of the site. So they have been active since the beginning of this semester. And we're in the process of gathering feedback, and then we will be reaching out to another set of governance groups and constituencies to get set up and go through training. Another need that we had that was a driver behind getting the intranet up is broader access to data. We have all talked about the importance of using data about our students, about our college in our planning and decision making. But as we do that as a work in progress, before we come to a final conclusion and we're ready to publish that publicly, there's a need for internal access to information to support that work process. In a sense, before things are ready for public view. And so this site gives us a way to share that information and open up access to more people, but at the same time, keep it internal until it has been through the process and is ready to be published. And then just general employee information and resources. When we transitioned our public website several years ago, one of the concerns about the site that it was replacing was just the amount of information that was stored there, and that it was being used for a lot of information that wasn't necessarily directly supporting students or the public. So this is now the place that we can start to build those employee resources. I'm going to give you a very brief look at what the site looks like. And then I'm going to ask Robbie Ewell to join me in talking about the next steps, because the Instructional Technology Council has been in discussion of how we're going to use this site in the long term, now that we've kind of addressed the immediate needs that were really driving access. So right now, this is what the homepage looks like. It's not very fancy yet, but it's got some functional things. One of them being a college-wide governance council. So all of the groups that have started to use information each have their own calendar, and those calendars can populate this calendar so that everything's visible in one location. I'm going to show you very briefly city planning, which is the proposed new name for MPROC. This gives us workspace to manage our agendas and minutes. I'll show you an agenda for our meeting coming up tomorrow. The topics are here. You can embed links to other documents. Here's our membership. You can add handouts and things at the bottom, and then everybody can just find everything at this link and it stays put. You don't have to search through your email. You don't have to worry that if you deleted the Outlook invitation that everything has disappeared. So this kind of space is available for, this basic structure is something that all of the groups are using. File storage for resources and documents, some workspace, a calendar, group membership goes at the bottom. Everyone who comes onto the site has the opportunity to create a profile, add a photo. I'm going to point to one other thing, which is that behind all of this, we have been building out a governance toolkit, and this is an outcome of our committee review project that we undertook over the past couple of years with the support of an IEPI improvement grant. This is providing guidance for all of these tools and resources, as well as recommendations that, as well as documenting the recommendations that this group is making about our governance system. And those things will be coming forward later this spring for final approval through all of our constituencies and then up to College Council. Here's our data dashboard area, which is just being built out, and we're experimenting with different formats, which is why you see the comments there. And then Caesar and his team have been building out communications resources as an example of how this information can be accessible to staff and faculty. So this has their branding guidelines, how to request assistance, photo galleries, templates, all of those great tools that they developed for our use, and will be accessible in one place. So I am going to stop here and see if there are any questions at this point, and that will transition into Rob and our discussion of where this goes next.
Well, looks like Rob's up next.
Okay, barring any questions. Hello, everybody. Susan, thank you. It turns out that Susan and the work group that's been working with her deserves a great deal of credit. They volunteered to be the canary in the mine and actually came up with a wonderful result so far. We know that the intranet is safe environment and it actually can do the things we want it to do. So now what's next? One of the items that's next is that we will be opening this up for everybody who is part of our community. All employees will be eligible to access this intranet. We are creating some guideposts, some, if you will, at least some type of guidelines for parties so that they do not do anything that's in violation of either district or city college expectations. And that's being done by the Institutional Technology Council, in which we should be coming to closure on our document to share with everyone, probably by our next meeting, which I believe is scheduled for next week. It is our expectation that we probably can actually have the opening for everybody else. The floodgates could be allowed open roughly around April 15th, which would allow anyone who's interested to actually explore. Maybe they're working on behalf of their particular department to build out its presence, but also there's a part of this that also was a winner for us choosing this particular intranet that's powered by ThoughtFarmer, and that is it has a social component to it. So parties can actually build their individual profiles, as Susan alluded to. You can also build a sense of community within these sites. And frankly, acknowledge parties. Everyone's part of Active Directory. So if you wanted to do a shout out, give a hello, acknowledge a birthday, or find other ways where people can intersect that proves that they're and shows that they're part of our community. This is something that's going to be now an opportunity for parties to do that's really by, for, and about employees. So again, the timing looks like April 15th will be the opening part. We'll have in place for parties and certainly opportunities to discuss the guidelines, which will continue to evolve as we evolve, but they are simply to keep people on straight and narrow as we start this. There's some things just as we're working with our distribution list, there are some things that we do not want parties kind of like violating other people's civil liberties or going against district policy. So that actually is almost ready. Please look forward to it. And we do know, quite frankly, that There's a place for everyone in this intranet, everyone who's part of our environment, including the one thing I should have mentioned is the opportunity to stow work product, things that are not ready for publication to the world, but if you as a team or a work group have things that are being assembled, this will be one of those spaces where you can safely place it and things can be found for continued work.
Well, thank you, Robbie. I want to be respectful. We've got several other things on the agenda. Susan, was there any other information?
There was one other announcement that we talked about sharing, and that is regarding our district strategic planning process. And I apologize that this didn't formally get on the agenda, but the district strategic planning meeting was this afternoon, almost immediately preceding the college council meeting. You may have seen in the chancellor's messages and in the requests to complete surveys that our district, as well as our college, is also going through a strategic plan process to develop a plan for the district as a whole, encompassing all of the colleges and the district office. They are working with a team of consultants, and those consultants will be holding what they call a planning charrette, which is going to be structured very similar to our own internal planning forums. And that will be for City College on Monday, March 14th from noon to 3. It will be on Zoom. The link, it's an open invitation to the city community to participate, and the link will be coming out through the DL, but we wanted to announce that date and make sure that people could get that noted. Thank you.
No, thank you, Susan. And both Janelli and I believe, sent an email to the campus with the information about the planning event for the district. I want to go out of order to give respect to my colleagues, and we want to acknowledge the work of our district colleagues who operate our cafe at City College, as we had a number of people partaking in the coffee and hot chocolate and other things. Nancy, thank you for getting information out to the campus about our amazing cafe at City. Wanted to give Nancy a couple moments to just talk about the strategies and approaches, and then we'll go to Sasha after Nancy.
Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. I'm not going to do any dog and pony show. I have a number of attachments that were included in this group. However, I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and enjoying some of our great coffee, snacks, and hot items. I know this has been very challenging. Every one of you we all wanted to be back and have everything the way it used to be and have it be terrific. However, things got in the way. We started, we stopped. Are we opening January 3rd? Are we opening January 18th? Are we opening February 22nd? And that's a tough way to run an operation. So we typically, if we'd have been operating in the fall, we would have had students and employees that would have been working in the fall. They would have carried over for spring, and things would be rolling forward. Well, with a fall that was very small and we were testing waters, obviously that didn't work. So now we're full speed ahead, it's kind of a tough time to be working to be hiring people, but we know that we have catering and other things that we can do. So for those of you who visited us yesterday, thank you. We wanted you to see that we're there. Our great folks are there, the same folks you remember before COVID. And we have Starbucks drinks, and we have the C-store grab and go open. And you may say, well, why did we do that? Well, we did it because as we knew we were opening in the spring, and we didn't know exactly when, we knew that staff was coming back. So we wanted to make sure that it was convenient for the A building and for folks on that side of the world. And we have opening soon is all we can say about 16th and C. And as soon as we can get a couple more folks hired, we will be open, and we will have services there, and we will take a look at the classes and the operations on that side of the campus and make sure that we have similar types of hours. Our current D building hours are 8 to 2:30. And every single sign, every single email, every single thing that we are sending includes now hiring. And you can
wait, Nancy, did you say you were hiring?
Yes, we're hiring.
Well, every one of us knows someone who may be in need of a job. And Diego, I don't know if you need a job, but I'm sure you know a student who might need a job. Nancy and her team are hiring. I just didn't want to miss that point, Nancy.
Yeah. We're hiring, and the good thing about that is everybody has a food allowance, so you have, one meal a day to be.
Wait a minute, you can work and get some food
and eat. Exactly.
That was the only way I ate when I was in college, Nancy. Is I worked at a place that served food.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we're looking forward to getting our staff up to the level that we need to, so we can get 16th and C open, and we'll run that, and then we'll be able to help with the catering, make sure that we are able to support all the events that happen in the last quarter of the semester, which is always very celebratory. We've got the graduation events, we've got the pre-graduation events, we've got all those things, and we want to make sure that we have all that going as well. And then we will begin, once we've got that going, then we'll begin to plan for the fall, when we can get as much as D open and have it to be the way it was before COVID hit. And we can't wait for that. We just can't wait for that.
Thank you, Nancy. Any questions for Nancy?
I don't really have a question, Ricky. I just wanted to say thank you to Nancy and her team for helping us this week on this entire week. I'm going to also do a little commercial for you, Nancy. Monday through Thursday, the Starbucks coffee continues from 10 to 11.
And I hear it's authentic Starbucks coffee.
It is authentic. It is authentic. It's always been authentic, and since we this was even before. And the good thing is, Tina Colmenero is the district manager for our company kitchen operation, and she works closely with everybody to make sure that staff is where it needs to be. And she's a great trainer and a food industry person, so she will make it happen.
Great. And again, I want to just reiterate for everyone watching live on YouTube and all of my colleagues, they are hiring. Diego, they're hiring. So please, folks, if you know a student who needs a job, they are hiring. I want to echo Tilly's sentiment that we have amazing colleagues that work in the cafe at City. The cafe at City is also open, folks, for Wi-Fi. There are computers there. Thanks to Robbie and his team. Come hang out at the cafe at City. And while you're there, go by the bookstore, say hi to our amazing colleagues who work in the bookstore who are helping to fill book orders. Let's not forget our colleagues who work in the cafe and the bookstore. I am going to move us ahead because we're trying to play catch up now, Nancy, but good to see you. Thank you for everything you all do.
Thank you.
Going to go next to something that is social justice at its core. Work in the elementary and middle schools to bring information about City College, careers, transfer, and none other than another one of our superstars who's on our team, the soon to be, I got to speak it into existence, the soon to be Dr. Sasha Knox, who is our career job placement coordinator, who's working out of the career center. I was trying to say career and transfer center and coordinator at the same time. I got a little fumbled there. Sasha, I just gave you another job. She's our job placement coordinator. And she helps our students find jobs, find internships, paid internships. And she's also working on this project that Sasha has a great future. And this is just an example of something that's going to put her on a national platform. Sasha, you want to talk about the Hope for Mount Hope?
Absolutely. And give me a time check. How much time do I have? And may I share my screen?
You have all the time you need, as long as it doesn't go over 7 minutes.
All right, got it. So I will share my screen. and very briskly take you on a journey with me. We've been working on a project for a little over a year for Help for Mount Hope, which is Adopt a School. You'll see on my screen a varied amount of campus and community partners who are really collaborating to adopt both high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools to provide career education, mentorship, and employment information to various communities. And so you'll see everyone's represented here from the San Diego Workforce Partnership, San Diego Unified, San Diego Unified CTE, San Diego College of Continuing Education. I always have to slow down with them. And then our lovely campus here at City College. My computer has decided that it is not going to keep up with me, but I'm going to keep going. So I will not go through the entire presentation because that will take a little bit longer. But what I will do is kind of explain some key elements of this program proposal, which is 4 main parts that I went over briefly. And so I'll deep dive just a smidget right now. Number 1 is that this is intentional mentorship, engagement, and information for middle schools and elementary schools, eventually leading to pipeline high schools, to provide this career education and collaborative information specifically to them. So it's really tapping in to talk about our elementary school students and our middle school students to learn what are your interests and values, how does that prepare you, what skills do you need, and what is the world of work aligned with your skills and interests. So the community partners that we are collaborating with are industry partners. So getting some mentorship and getting individuals to see people that look like them, right? Looking from an intentional diversity, equity, and inclusion language of bringing career professionals and giving our schools some tools to learn about the San Diego priority sectors that if you know me, if you hear me, they come out of my mouth almost every presentation, but really allowing our students to know what their opportunities are and to give them direct tools and information for that. The culmination of this project is to be able to take over the school, take over career education on these campuses. We have 4 schools that have expressed interest. All of these schools reside in the Mount Hope community. And if you're familiar with the Mount Hope community or for the Lincoln cluster, there are a variety of issues and barriers that our students face in these communities. They're high traumatic stress and violent communities, and we want to take the deficit model and language out of these communities by preparing them not only with the information, but connecting that in real world opportunities right there at their fingertips. Yes, as early as kindergarten, right? Yes, as late as high school, but really starting to build that foundation and provide that information at the front and foremost of these conversations. And again, providing that, so my screen, I might as well stop sharing because it's not listening to me, but providing that at the forefront to really make sure that our students know, and again, and inspire and ignite who they are inside and connect that to the outer world. Those are the basis of it. Again, we're going to do some bells and whistles. We're going to get, not just me up there talking about careers, but let's actually bring in our science department and do science experiments right then and there. Let's expose them to the trades and let them know what the career opportunities are for them. Let SDG&E come down and do a power presentation in the classroom, right? So making this really engaging and have a world of opportunities, but then also bringing back that traditional career fair. How many of you sat in classes a long time ago and had your middle school had a career fair, right? We took those out a while ago in our K through 12 partnership. So let's bring that and infuse that back in a really fun and engaging way. Okay, so there are some key partners. They are arriving on the screen now. So of course you've got San Diego City College, which is one of the best. We've got our College of Continuing Ed to really talk about those trades and some of these other programs that we don't host on our campus here, as well as San Diego Workforce Partnership, again, bringing that knowledge and key information about our priority sectors and the world of work and how that maps so that our students don't believe there's only 5 professions that they can go into. And then San Diego County and Imperial Community College, our regional consortium, is also partnered with us on this journey. I want to leave some space and time. Of course, we have our San Diego Unified Partners, both on the CTE and that integrated program. Again, with the schools that we're looking to influence with the Mount Hope community, it's really important that we're collaborating with not only with our K through 12 partners, but really with that integrated new programs that they have there. I'm going to stop number 1 because it's going rogue and doing its own thing. But also to open it up for any questions or answers, or Dr. Shabazz, help me if there's any information gap as I got thrown off by my screen there that I may be missing.
Sasha, you are so dope, and this project is dope because you're leading the effort to bring above livable wage careers to a community, Southeast San Diego, that is so deserving of knowing about things at a much earlier age. And if you look at the high schools and the middle schools in Southeast, many of these careers have been taken out of them. And so this is an opportunity to go back into these schools using our amazing faculty, our amazing students, partnered with other industries, unions, trades, to bring information about careers in college, right? We're trying to revisit this concept that they're not mutually exclusive, that you're going to go to college, whether it be to transfer or whether it be to get some kind of certificate or job training to go into a above livable wage career. And I know with Sasha and the partners that she pointed out, this is going to be a national model for working in a highly urban environment and reconnecting families and careers. And the other byproduct that I'll say, and I'll open it up to questions, will be increased concurrent enrollment from these schools, because these elementary and middle school students will learn about college and visit City College prior to getting to high school. And that'll be because of Sasha's leadership and all of the faculty who will be working with her on this project. Any questions, folks, about this project? Hearing none, I believe, Sasha, you either will be or have presented this to the Academic Senate. If you haven't, please work with Tilly and Ira in my office to present this to the Academic Senate. Certainly Maria Jose as the acting president. We want to make sure that folks know Sasha, Genevieve, and the team just led the first Trade Wednesdays at Lincoln High School. So that's an example of what we're doing. And our amazing cosmetology program and a couple of other programs went and talked to these students about things they could be doing right now as high school students in programs that we offer at City College. So thank you to everyone who's working on this project. If I seem excited about it, it's because one of the things I said at convocation is that my goal before I leave City College, and when I mean by leave, I mean retire, is to put 25,000 families into these high demand careers. And this is the beginning of that effort. Any questions about the Hope for Mount Hope? And let me shout out Stacy Dent. Want that to be on the record. Stacy Dent, who, if you know Southeast San Diego, she's a product of Southeast San Diego, works for San Diego Unified School District. It was really Stacy and Sasha that have been working on this since it began. She is a staple in the community in Southeast San Diego. This is her vision that we're helping to bring into reality. She was in elementary school, elementary or middle? She was either an elementary or middle school teacher in Southeast San Diego and saw this as a need. And I'm happy that we're able to facilitate it because of Sasha's leadership. Any questions? Hearing none, thank you, Sasha. And please reach out to Tilly, Maria Jose, and Ira if we haven't presented this to the Academic Senate. We want everyone to know this effort that's underway. Maria Jose, I am going to defer to you whether you have enough time to do this or we should put this first, your presentation first on the next meeting. I'll defer to your leadership because I want you to have the time necessary to talk about something that is so important to participatory governance at our college.
So, I mean, it's also up to you. It's pretty short and simple, but at first, Sasha, good job. Everyone, good job. And so it's really up to you. If you're really tired, then we can leave it for next time, or Oh, my colleague just brought me muffins. That's the good thing about being on campus.
Yeah, I think 15 minutes is not enough to talk about something that is so important to the decision making of our college. So if I could, and I apologize, folks, I get over ambitious with these agendas, particularly because we missed 2 weeks. So if I could, Janelle, I think this should be first in the next meeting so that Maria Jose has the time necessary to go through something that is so important to the decision-making process. And if you would be okay with that, Maria Jose, I wouldn't want you to rush like I just rushed Sasha and a couple other folks. We want to make sure we give it its due because 10+1 is important that we all understand what that means in our decision-making process. And speaking of skipping things, I'm going to turn it over to one of our deans, Robbie Yule. He and his team with the professional development coordinators are working on a land acknowledgement. And I wanted him to do a brief, but now I need him to do a very brief update on where we are with the land acknowledgement. This will eventually come back for a full vote. So he can be brief because it'll come back for a full vote. Robbie?
Thank you, Ricky. If I may share my screen just for a second.
You should have access to share.
Thank you. Okay. Hopefully you can see this. Can you see the PowerPoint slide?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'll be really brief. This, of course, is an initiative that was launched, basically formally launched with our convocation and Dr. Teresa Ambo, acknowledging not only are we pursuing a land acknowledgement statement, but also what happens beyond a land acknowledgement. And for us, San Diego City College, of course, rests on unceded land that has been the ancestral home of the Kumeyaay. The college's land acknowledgement statement is a formal statement of related actions that acknowledge the significance of Indigenous people to the college and the surrounding communities. In effect, this is us building a relationship that long overdue. And we have been, over the last few months, we have put together a land acknowledgement resolution for Academic Senate to review and hopefully approve, and also a corresponding statement, our land acknowledgement, if you will. Here's where we are in terms of progress. We've actually promulgated this to a number of constituent groups. We have a first and second read that has already been conducted by Classified Senate. A overview has already been conducted by SPA, more to be followed up. And also for Academic Senate Exec, actually took a look and gave some commentary, what allowed us to have our first engagement for a possible read, which was yesterday with Academic Senate. The intent here is to share the drafts of these documents, not to say that this is a done deal, and to truly invite feedback and further input that will allow us to make this an even better document. I can tell you very briefly that we received a lot of input so far, not so much on the verbiage of the land acknowledgement or the resolution, but mostly on the initiative. And the fact that the initiative had some recommendations that are truly noteworthy and groundbreaking for our college. Among them is the formation of or the attempt to put together a Native American Studies program to secure Native American Indigenous faculty members to actually handle this type of program, to look at debt relief possibilities for parties who are Indigenous and have been with us, and also to look at the possibility of creating a Native American or Indigenous peoples club, along a few other things. We have also, frankly, are working on providing an opportunity for parties to actually meet with Kumeyaay Community College to see where we can have some shared interest. And we are going through a bank of cultural awareness programs that will take us very quickly through the rest of this, remainder of this semester, hopefully culminating with both the official acknowledgement of a final version of our statement, our land acknowledgement, and of course the wonderful opportunity for Academic Senate to have a resolution that they're comfortable with. I wanted to just tell you this really briefly, that there's been incredible interest, not just on our campus, but also throughout our district and beyond. We have received just recently information from district parties who are working on a land acknowledgement. We're going to try to combine forces to some degree. Miramar College actually has a land acknowledgement effort well underway. And we've heard, and thank you, Ricky, for sharing information from our board member, Craig, who actually indicated he shared with us a document from Indigenous communities on how to, on basically rules of engagement, if you will, so that as we move further down this continuum, we literally will have a very positive experience that is mutually beneficial for all parties. Where we are next is to continue to get the feedback. We're going to compile it all and then be able to share that with the larger body. Adjustments will be made where appropriate. But most importantly, what I would like to say is that the initiative itself has been a conversation starter, not only on what we are proposing to do, but it also is a little bit, it ignites further conversation about other things that are related that we may want to also take on. And one of the things in terms of the commentary has been, well, what about these other programs that are either similar and that also could be work in unison? The answer is that this has shined a light on those things too. So it's been a healthy engagement so far, that it means that we can, it's not a zero-sum game that as we try to build something, we're taking away from another program. It's actually a win-win as we continue to build and add to our the riches of our college. So the feedback has been great. We want to encourage much more, and it's going to get more and more detailed as we go further.
Thank you, Robbie. Any questions for Robbie about the land acknowledgement process? Again, it's working its way through the college, and really what we have learned, as Robbie has said, is that we are talking about moving beyond a land acknowledgement, which is what he outlined, which should also include us reaching out to the only state representative who represents San Bernardino, who is a member of a California tribe and also a graduate of a California community college, as a potential commencement speaker. And so we are looking to honor the fact that our campus does in fact sit on land that our local Kumeyaay band was forcibly removed from. And when you know history, there is an opportunity to atone for these matters, and that's the whole notion behind moving beyond the land acknowledgement. So thank you to Robbie and his entire team and everyone who's giving some feedback and suggestions on how we can make this a very living process where we acknowledge that our colleagues still exist. We are fortunate to be in California, where we have a number of local Native tribes, and it is important that we understand the history, that we preserve it, that we tell it, that we teach it. Questions for Robbie? Hearing none, let me conclude this meeting by saying it is good to be back at City College. Our vice presidents, deans, managers, supervisors who participated in the welcome back events, I needed that. Thank you to everyone. I needed those tacos today too, and that watermelon drink. I'm still drinking it. But it was so good to see our colleagues, many of which we have not seen, many of which we continue to see. But when I arrived on campus on Monday, I didn't know we had so many coffee drinkers. Nancy, we have to talk about getting a Jamba Juice over here, because I'm not a coffee drinker, but I love a good Jamba Juice. But it was so good to see our colleagues in line, hugging, fist pumps, elbows, whatever a person's comfort level is. In fact, we have buttons, folks, if you would like that establish what your comfort level happens to be. The wristbands are here in terms of what your comfort level is. Jeannie showcased this to me, and I believe Clarissa, Genevieve, the outreach team, and a number of people packaged. And this candy bar came in handy today. I needed a sugar rush today. Don't eat too many of them, folks. But our managers are delivering this to various departments. If you haven't been on campus, I encourage you to come and partake in the synergy. That is the reason we love City College. It was so good to see people the last 2 days. I met with a group of about 20 people. The Nearys of the world, the Leslies of the world, a number of people. Maria Jose was there. We're strategizing how to keep what you're seeing going this week moving forward. And here's what we've come up with. Once a month, we are going to close the campus for an hour or so, probably on a Friday. And we're going to feature a different area of the campus. We will start with the beautiful A building patio and learn more about some of the student service programs. We'll get you these dates in the coming weeks. So that'll be April. In May, we'll go over to our wonderful library. So Robbie, get ready. We'll have some time to go into the library and have Robbie and his team talk about the work that they're doing in the library. And what came out of that meeting yesterday is that once a month, we'll have a gathering where we will learn about areas of the campus to try to broaden these silos so that people in different departments can find out what's going on in those buildings until we make a full loop of the entire campus. And so I want to thank every single person who came. Jocelyn was there. A number of the people who are on this line right now were there yesterday, met with a small group to get some feedback. I took copious notes and I assured them that we're going to implement everything they suggested could be done. And so one of the things they said is Ricky, we'd like to close the campus for about an hour or so that everyone can come together and learn about areas of the campus that maybe we don't get to frequent. And so we're going to kick that off with student services in April, followed by the library in May. So Robbie, have your team get ready. They'll have the platform to give updates on the great work that our librarians are doing, our classified professionals. But there are other things in the library, professional development, Don and his team. You have who I call our resident MacGyvers. Hopefully they don't mind me saying that, but Sean and Eric, who make so many things happen behind the scenes with technology. There's a lot of things to learn about what's going on in the library. We'll have some food. So Robbie, prepare our librarians. I'm going to ask them to allow us to have some food in a responsible way in the library, because something about food and music attracts people. And so we want to make sure that City College love and energy and synergy that attracted to us to our college remains in place. And let me say, folks, it is back. Anyone who attended an event yesterday or today or for the rest of this week, the vice presidents and deans are walking to their offices, connecting with people. And if you have an idea, let us know. We're open. We don't have this all figured out. We are open to suggestions. And so I'm meeting with this smaller group to take their advisement. People who I would say are actively engaged. We know Nuri and folks, Jocelyn, the Maria Jose's, their energy is just attracting. So we got all of those folks together. Leslie came with stress balls. We all could use one of these right now, folks. And so we brought some people together to talk about how do we ensure that City College love is spread, particularly for those who are just coming back to campus. Folks, we're all facing very real trauma, very real decisions, childcare, family. I want to work remote. I want to work in person. But I want to tell you that our college was intended to be brick and mortar. What drew us to City College was interacting with one another and our amazing students. And anyone who was here the last 2 days, you felt that again. And so we're going to keep this momentum going where once a month we will close down for an hour or so preferably on a Friday. So all you all who want to work remote on Friday, one Friday out of the month, you're gonna have to come back so you can learn about the amazing things going on at our college. And so I just want to thank every single person who helped with the welcome back. I don't even know what the rest of the week is going to look like, but I can tell you the first 2 days, this is a success, folks. This was a success. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all for what you do for our college. And one of the things, and I'll end with something that Neri said, because I kind of pressed some folks, like I need to know something. And this is an example, in my opinion, of a true professional. And what Neri said is, look, the thing we really need is to be acknowledged and to hear thank you. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of our entire administration, thank you to every single person, from the facilities team who just removed those bushes in front of the bookstore that I've been asking for the last several weeks, to folks who've been on campus, delivering things, receiving things, to people who've been implementing innovative strategies online, whether you've been teaching online, counseling online, providing online support. Every single person has done their part. And I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. But it is time to get back to campus and interact with one another with that energy and City College love that brought us all here. With that said, folks, it is good to see you all. There was an announcement put out about working remotely. I'm going to be filming an update on Monday with Caesar to unpack what that means. I'm also going to be calling an emergency meeting with the managers to talk about what that means. But let me just tell you right then now, we are an in-person college that offers online instruction and online support services. We are not an online college. There is a difference, folks. What I love most about this place is being able to walk down the hall and see our wonderful colleagues and feed off of their energy. Take care, everyone. I appreciate you all tuning in. We'll be back in 2 weeks, and I will have an update and an announcement about working remotely. And yes, people will be able to work remotely, not 100%, maybe 1 day a week, maybe 2 days a week. But we are an in-person college. Our students need us. Diego, do you need us in person?
We do.
Okay. So if Diego says we have to be here in person, guess what, folks? We have to be here in person to support Diego and his colleagues. Good to see you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone.